Because right now, the only thing standing between you and the rider is me. And he's scraping at the door. Scraping at the door.
Do you remember the 2007 Ghost Rider starring Nicolas Cage? I used to love this movie, but like everyone else, I kind of forgot about it until I decided to watch Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, they started showing a lot of old MCU characters that I didn't think I'd see on the big screens again, but I was kind of disappointed that Ghost Rider wasn't there. I haven't seen him in anything Marvel except for that one appearance in a TV show that I cannot remember the name of.
Stay back. I've got this.
And Ghost Rider is such a fun character too, which is kind of sad to not have him in anything else. And the new Deadpool movie had Johnny from the first Fantastic Four movie and hundreds of others like Blade, which is in a very similar area as Ghost Rider, but yet still nothing about Ghost Rider. And I know not many people really look back on the Nicolas Cage movies and think of them as good comic book movies, but at least in the same area as, let's say, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, they're both kind of corny, you know, obviously cheesy comic book films. I still really like the Ghost Rider films, and I honestly can say I can't picture anyone else playing Ghost Rider except for Nicolas Cage. Maybe he wasn't the best actor to pick, but was Tobey the best actor to play Spider-Man? They're basically iconic to the character, and sure, it's how I first saw both of these characters, so maybe it's just child nostalgia. Either way though, I really enjoy the first Ghost Rider movie, and I still enjoy the second movie, even though it was not good.
What is done with you? There won't be anything left, do you understand? Do you understand? Shake your head yes or no.
Sure, it leaves a lot to be desired, and it's not perfect, but in saying that, there is so much more to it that I feel like is being brushed off. And yes, the effects do look iffy, but for 2007 and being a semi-low budget comic book movie, it's pretty impressive and stands with some of the movies that were out that year. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that I love because of just how pretty they are. And, you know, it does follow some generic structures of having a love interest and all this and that we're all used to from the comic book genre. But the Ghost Rider story itself is one that is super intriguing. A guy sells his soul to the devil so his father doesn't die. In the terms of the MCU, that's one of the more darker origin stories out there. The movie does a great way of showing this and telling you how it's done. And sure, you know, young Johnny doesn't look anything like old Johnny, but, you know, close enough. There's a lot of cool stunts in this movie as well. Just look at any motorcycle scene. There are some moments in this movie that you can tell are just for pure enjoyment, and damn it, I enjoy it, right? It does what it needs to be done. But in saying that, you know, the bad parts of this really stick out like a sore thumb. There's many plot holes and other things. Also, surprisingly, a lot of random jump scares that aren't scary. Even 8-year-old me wasn't scared. And also, the way the villain dies is also really stupid. He's a really stupid character. But in saying that, the pennant stare, which is used to kill him, is done so well. It's so cool. It really makes you feel like you're watching the sins of these characters. And then the slow reveal of their eyes being, I don't know what you'd call that, but now if you put yourself in the shoes of some of the characters that Ghost Rider kills, it could turn into a horror film. Like, it's kind of like Batman in a way. This character is mainly about installing fear into the characters, and if I was on the opposite side of this man, I'd understand why. Another really cool scene in this movie where Nicolas Cage is locked in a prison cell with a ton of other inmates, and he goes absolutely berserk, turning into the Ghost Rider and just destroying everything. Like, you don't really come to watch this movie for like something that is extremely serious and tells a story. You go to Ghost Rider because he is a pure monster that can just destroy anything in his path. And as someone who does critique movies a lot, I am very picky about what I watch. And a good story is important. Like, the devil's son is trying to gain souls so he can, like, overthrow his father. I mean, that can be good, but then you learn that Ghost Rider can't kill him because he doesn't have a soul. And you know what he decides to do? Get 1,000 souls. So you know what that happens? It ends up him dying. The will they, won't they relationship that Johnny and the female protagonist has is, you know, generic. You know what's gonna happen. It's nothing you haven't seen before. And you know, there's some scenes that really annoy me. Like, there's a scene she doesn't believe Johnny when he's telling her about him being able to turn into the Ghost Rider. And it's like understandable. Like, if some man came up to you and he was like, hey man, my skin can come off and my skull turns on fire, and I have a really fast motorcycle that is also on fire, I feel like you wouldn't necessarily believe that guy. But we're shown multiple times that Johnny is able to wield fire, even not as the Ghost Rider. So I don't know why he couldn't simply just show it to her and prove the fact that, you know, he's this demon thingy, but doesn't because plot. And there's a good couple of scenes that are like this. So there's a lot that could be better. A lot of core features to this that are really charming. Kind of like Alvin and the Chipmunk movies. They're bad movies, but they have some level of charm to them. Even though this movie has a lot of bad. And when they are bad, they are bad. But you can't deny that these transformation scenes are some of the best MCU transformations. It's pure chaos, and Nicolas Cage does it perfectly. Nicolas Cage himself is already a crazy lunatic, so him transforming into a crazy lunatic is even more fun. Ghost Rider is like a giant cartoon. If you're not watching it for the really cool scenes, you're watching it because sometimes it can be really funny, even if it's not meaning to. As I said, Ghost Rider is supposed to be intimidating, and sometimes he is, but a lot of times he is mainly funny, right? He has a lot of dialogue and scenes that are, you know, just makes you smile. And they were supposed to be serious or big, tough, macho, but it really just comes off as this comedic scene, even though I can guarantee you that's not what they were intending. I like a lot of things just because the color palette is pretty. And this movie does have a lot of pretty scenes and pretty colors. So maybe that's another why I like it, because this movie does really just have some phenomenal scenes. Like, yeah, sure, it's kind of stupid that you use your last Ghost Rider transformation just to walk across the desert, but at the same time, I'm 100% glad you did. And yes, I'll admit, there's a lot of characters in this movie that are very forgettable. As you may know, I don't even know the name of the main girl in this movie. I don't know who she is. And all in all, this movie seems like it's been mainly forgotten by the majority of people. Even Deadpool didn't even mention anything, and they had Blade. They had a character from the first Daredevil movie, was absolute trash. There's nothing to be enjoyed about it. All in all, I hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, because if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll be shaving my head bald. So yeah.